All right, guys, in today's video, we become heroes. And the reason I say heroes is, well, the wife has some projects for me. In today's video, we're gonna make some pantry upgrades. See, a few years ago, I built a pantry because we didn't have one, and well, it served very well, but we've got some upgrades we need to make to it. Most specifically, two different things. I'd like to make a Lazy Susan to put all of our cans and vegetables on. Seems like a pretty easy build. And if your wife is anything like mine, she likes coffee. And if your wife likes coffee, she has coffee mugs, even seasonal ones. So I need to make a coffee cup display for all of our seasonal to be stored in the back. So I'm thinking a large semicircle, a couple different layers that I can put in the top of the pantry and store all the coffee mugs until whatever season there is. And then also a Lazy Susan for green beans and rice and ravioli and all that good stuff. So join me today as we knock off the honey to-do list on High Five. All right, now to start this project, I've got a couple of these 24 by 48 inch, half-inch pieces of MDF. They're really nice MDF, I may add. And this is what we're going to use to build our projects today. So we're going to cut out roughly 34 inches, and then I'll cut out a semicircle, kind of a deep semicircle, and that'll be for our mug display. I'll replicate it on the other one, and then we'll take this cutout and we'll use it to cut our circles that we're going to use for our Lazy Susan. Additionally, we'll take all of the offcuts and we'll use those to make our supports for both the mug display as well as the Lazy Susan. So we're going to maximize, we're going to try to use every piece, every inch of this MDF that we possibly can. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to the table saw. We'll cut both these down to 34 inches. We'll draw out our semicircle. We'll hand it to the bandsaw. We'll cut that out. And then we're going to work on the mug display first, and then we'll get to our Lazy Susan. So let's have some fun today. All right, now we've got our piece cut. So we've got a roughly 34 by 20 inches. And then we started marking out our lines. So we're gonna go ahead and take our black Sharpie so we can get a good solid line for when we head to the bandsaw. And basically, I've got my ruler at 6 inches. And that should be plenty enough to hold any sort of coffee mug that there may be, or other things. And then we've got this lid right here that we're going to use to round out our corner. There we go. So now we're going to head to the bandsaw. We'll cut this out. Then we'll trace it onto the other one. We'll put them together, sand them smooth, and then we'll start building the assembly. So let's head to the bandsaw. All right, we've got everything cut out. We've got our two platforms. So this one we're gonna do a base and then a top, and that'll give us 2 layers. We were gonna do 3 layers, But after looking inside the pantry, I don't have room for that, so that's going to be fine. Now this will be easy to maneuver in and out. We've got our support pieces cut, and these are roughly 6 inches. Should give plenty of room for the mugs down below. Now, I've got to mock this up to where I think it gives me the best amount of support and also maximizes the amount of mugs that I can put in there. So I think something like this is going to work. What we're going to do, I'm going to glue the bottom, everything to the bottom. I'm going to let that dry. We can flip it over. I'll brad it, screw it together. We'll put some glue on the top, set the top on, brad it and screw it all together. We won't have to wait on that one, but for the bottom we will. So let's get gluing. All right, there we go. We'll let this glue do its thing. Then we'll come back, brad it together, screw it together, flip it, glue it, screw it. Let's go. All right, there we go. We've got a nice mug display that's going to sit in the back or the top of our pantry. We should get quite a big coffee mugs on the first and the top shelf. So we're going to go ahead and call this one done for now. I'll go ahead and I'll do just a light sanding, especially on the corners, but this bad boy is done. And now, time for a Lazy Susan. Part 2 of the pantry upgrade. Now we move on to the Lazy Susan. And just when I was about to use a scrap piece from the mug display, look what I found. This is a perfectly circle, a 14-inch circle. I used this as a template whenever I was making the pizza cutting board. And if you haven't seen that video, you've got to see it. Probably one of the best cutting boards on the internet today. I'd give it a watch. So I've got one awesome 14-inch circle. I went ahead and roughed out another one, although you can only get it so perfect on the bandsaw. So I'm going to screw these guys together. We're going to move over to the router. I'm going to flush trim it, and then we'll work on some risers to get it up, and then we'll add in the metal, actually Lazy Susan part here in a minute. But let's get these screwed together. Let's head to the router. Let's flush it up. All right, now we've got 2 identical 14-inch circles, and this is gonna be how we're gonna build our structure. So we have those offcuts that we did earlier, and we are going to put them in the center, and basically we're gonna build a big plus sign. And it should be strong enough to hold the top, and then we've got our actual mechanism, our Lazy Susan, which I do need to spray a little WD-40 in this because I've had this for a very long time. I probably have some dust I got to get out of it. But this is exactly what it's going to look like. So I'm pretty pumped with how it's coming along. Just like the other build, I'm going to go ahead and glue it together, and then I'll screw it together. So I'll do the bottom, and then I'll work our way to the top. So let's go. All right, now we got our top and our bottom screwed together. We need to add the mechanism that's going to allow it to spin around. Now I went ahead and centered it. I've got roughly 6.2 centimeters all the way around on the outside. So we're going to hold it there. We're going to go ahead and start drilling in our holes to attach this. Okay, moment of truth. All right, there we go. We've got a pretty cool Lazy Susan. And that's actually probably pretty loud, so I do apologize. All right, so there we go. We are complete with a cupboard upgrade. This was a very interesting build, as it's something that I wouldn't normally do, but hey, you know what? I needed to make the wife happy. So we've got an awesome top shelf mug display. So I've got 2 shelves or 2 heights that I can display mugs on. And then we've got the Lazy Susan that we can put in the back to put all kinds of canned vegetables and broths and whatever it may be in the corner and still save some room. I'm pretty happy with the way these things turned out, albeit it is MDF. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this. Hopefully it inspires you to get a little bit more organized in your pantry. And until next time, have a great day.